Welcome everybody to today's 1 million by 1 million strategy roundtable for entrepreneurs. As you know, the mission of 1 million by 1 million is to help a million entrepreneurs reach $1 million in annual revenue, beyond $1 billion in global GDP and 10 million jobs by 2020. And of course, that entire endeavor is entirely predicated upon finding serious, strong entrepreneurs who have the resilience to make happen serious entrepreneurs. And it's a lot of work, it's a lot of nerve that is required to see this through. And a lot of sacrifice. You know, if you decide to go down the path of entrepreneurship, it is going to take an immense amount of sacrifice and diligent work to see it through. So serious entrepreneurs is the operating word. This is our 114th by 1 million roundtable, and this roundtable will be recorded. You will find the recording to share with other people or to listen to playback. If you are active on Twitter, our two handles are at 1M by 1M and at Sramana. You could definitely follow us on either of those. And if you're live tweeting today during the session, use the hashtag 1M1M, and Maureen will also be live tweeting some portions of it through the at 1M by 1M handle. So the first presenter today is Sudhendra Sechala. Sudhi is a premium member of 1 million by 1 million, and his company is Huduku Venture. Sudhi, if you could unmute your line and come and tell us what Huduku is doing, that would be great.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for the chance here. This is my second one in probably like 4 weeks. My previous pitch was mostly on an ERP space, predominantly focused on the Indian market or Asia Pacific market. This one is where we want to, last few years we have been working with several clients in Houston within cloud space. Huduku is predominantly a professional services organization where we offer solutions as a service. We build solutions, custom solutions based on prepackaged applications like Sugar CRM, Salesforce, Microsoft CRM, and stuff like that. And then with our experience working with multiple cloud environments, we felt there was a need to build a unified platform to supporting the cloud vendors. So to that effect, if you could go to the next slide, please. To that effect, what we did was we wanted to test the market. We wanted to see what kind of market exists for such a tool. So we spoke to some initial customers within our space who are predominantly Microsoft customers, Microsoft Shop, and they use Microsoft suite of cloud tools. And at the same time, they had specific infrastructure which was hosted on a Linux environment, which is totally, totally what Microsoft. What we try to do is kind of, use two different sets of tools. That's when we thought it would be a great idea to build a platform where you can bring all the assets that Microsoft or Microsoft data center or data center onto a cloud and on one single platform. That's where the idea came through. The kind of opportunities that we are looking for within the medium and large enterprises, that's where the opportunity exists as of today.
Are you working with a specific set of customers to come up with these concepts that you're talking about?
Right now, we are actually talking to a couple of them, but we haven't had a chance to speak to. I mean, we haven't had a chance to demonstrate our product yet. One of the reasons, one of the takeaway from this particular call is to somehow get some feedback from you. At the same time, we are also going through the premium material that's available on your website to build some, solid ground. And we need some help in terms of how do we
Somebody is streaming a lot of echo and noise into the call, so can you please, mute your line or whatever. Everybody else who's not speaking, please mute the line. And Sudhi, are you from a computer or are you on a phone?
I'm on the phone.
And is your Skype muted? Is your computer muted?
Yes, that is correct. Yeah, it is muted.
Okay, all right, so keep going.
So one of the takeaway from this is to get some sort of a feedback in terms of the customer validation, what sort of customers we should be going. I mean, we have some people we have shortlisted, sent out emails and feelers as of last Monday, since last Monday. Haven't heard from anyone, but we want your feedback. Second is when we recommend to build some sort of total availability market, but within the cloud space, it's kind of a limited, it's still evolving and it doesn't have a concrete, it's not mature enough. So how do we get the TAM, TAM data to come up with something like that? And third one is, we really need help in terms of the overall guidance as to what should be our approach moving forward.
So first and foremost, I am not at all comfortable going and building anything yet, because this is what you've said so far is much too vague, and the cloud platform space is plenty crowded, and bringing platform products to market is a hugely expensive affair.
Okay.
So, so the way to think about this right now, I would like to see what emerges organically from your customer work. You are doing professional services work in the cloud space, right?
Right.
So one of the ways that professional services companies have been able to evolve their margins by introducing frameworks and libraries and tools is by just organically by understanding deeply what your customers are looking for over and over again and building blocks based on those, whether it's frameworks or libraries, whatever. That is a safer way to do this. Whatever you've said about a platform right now does not resonate with me because it's too broad and too vague.
Okay. So, I mean, we did have a video link to demonstrate what we have so far. Almost 60 to 70% of the demonstration in the video is actually direct work from a customer case study. Those are the things that we did for the customer, and we have some sort of a relationship with the customer where they are okay to build those specific components into the platform. So, for example, one use case example is the customer is using it for the cloud storage, something like Rackspace Cloud Storage, for storing all their media files. It's like a CDN right now.
Yeah.
But it's in one department they have this CDN already implemented using Rackspace, but for some reason another department within the same organization is going and buying CDN services from Microsoft Azure. So they need some sort of within the organization they need some sort of a syncing mechanism between those two CDNs. Because the images or the content that gets uploaded onto one CDN needs to somehow mimic on the other CDN also, because it is two different groups, and they don't want duplication of duplicate uploading from a user standpoint. So what we have built is one of the features is the syncing capabilities between storage providers from Rackspace to Azure and Azure back to Rackspace. So it's like any media you upload once, it can get the same media can get replicated on Rackspace.
So is that the case is that the use case around which you're proposing your product?
Yeah, that's one use case that feature is already built in. That's just one part of the story. But there are situations, I mean, you can't directly build a syncing capability between two storage providers because you need to build the underlying platform. You need to support this, storage provider, Azure storage provider. You need to build this Rackspace storage provider. So that's what when I say platform, that's what I say. It is a simple tool which can be accessed over an internet.
Let's go up one layer of abstraction. So you're assuming there are companies that have storage on Azure and storage on Rackspace, and they're using CDN. They're using Rackspace as CDN, then Azure as CDN, and you're trying to provide a bridge between those two. That is the crux of the scenario you're describing, yes?
Yeah, that is correct. That's one scenario.
And how many customers have you encountered that have this scenario?
Right now, as I said, we are just talking to one of them. I believe that there might be similar kind of situations with other customers also. Just like in an enterprise company, or you have one piece of hardware.
That's all that point is moot. You have a hunch. You have to validate that hunch. It's a very clear methodology that we follow is to validate your assumptions.
Okay. Yeah, that's exactly. I mean, I think we are in that stage where we want to reach out to customers and we want to validate that. I mean, if you look at my slide deck, that's how I've organized. I've tried to put that forward. I mean, this is the big picture. This is what we want to build. It's a platform which would bridge between the infrastructure as a service as well as the SaaS providers. But at the same time, what people miss is the existing companies, existing enterprise companies. They do have their own data center. They do have assets on their own data center. So somewhere you need to have some sort of tools to bridge between the cloud assets and non-cloud assets. So
one thing I would comment in what I'm hearing is that use the terminology instead of using platform. Platform is a dangerous terminology in some ways. The platforms are difficult to market. I think what you're talking about is a connector.
Okay.
And if you're talking about building a set of connectors or building a connector infrastructure between infrastructure as a service and Windows Azure or anybody else, I think that's a better way of going about it. And then you need to look for a set of Windows Azure customers, talk to Windows Azure customers, and find out which of them, and have this kind of a situation. How many? You need to get a critical mass of them to validate this assumption. Then you need to do a TAM analysis of how many of these are out there and so forth. That's how you position a product. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Again, this is the next slide is it's at a higher level. What are the things that we are going to provide from a feature standpoint? Right now, we haven't built several components there. It's just a life cycle here.
But don't build anything until you get a handle of whether this is something that you want to do on a large scale, and is there a market for it?
Yeah, we haven't built we haven't built a large scale of it, but we wanted to literally try this because some of the things that we have done is for a customer. So we just wanted to make sure that
you have to build it anyway because you have to deliver this project for the customer. That, by the way, is the best scenario in which you build products, where you have some customer paying you to to do the R&D and to build the pieces and so forth, so that you can, you can come up with.
Yeah, I mean, we do a lot of work within with open source technologies, and we were recently hired from Microsoft to do some porting of open source content management system to Windows Azure, and that experience actually helped us build some of these components beforehand.
Okay.
And then,
so now your next step is to go get more broad validation on the specific scenario, and my one specific comment is to not position it as a platform. You're not talking about a platform. I think you're talking about a connector.
Okay.
So
connector might have a narrow connotation, right? Connector, when you're talking about a connector, it could be just a storage connector. But here, what I'm also thinking is, maybe you have, even if you consider, if you discount Microsoft Azure, if you just go through the cloud computing infrastructure supported by Amazon and Rackspace and GoGrids, all the major providers, their predominant distribution is Linux, and it could be a way of supporting this infrastructure also, not just storage part or the CDN part of it.
No, that doesn't matter. I think okay. So if connector is not the word may be the phrase may be integration framework.
Okay.
But the word you should use is, you should not use as platform, because platform has certain baggage attached to it if you try to sell that.
Okay.
There's integration framework is right now, because of where the cloud is, integration frameworks and capabilities around integration are in high demand. There are lots of different types of integrations that are required, and people who have deep core competency in integration itself, and especially if you come to the table with a suite of integration frameworks and so forth, that gives you a great positioning.
Okay. Thank you.
So this, I think, integration framework, cloud integration framework is something we can build a significant company around with what you have.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks a lot. I think this was very helpful.
Okay, great.
And one thing is, we went ahead and also have a sign-up page where if the people want to see what they get, we have a sign-up page on Zermon.com who can actually do the sign-up. It's a private beta right now. I want to see if there are a sufficient amount of people who could help us really test the idea. Whatever I'm saying, does it really make a business case? And it would be really helpful if you can guide us in that front, where we can do some more customer validation. And one more point.
You need to go after customers in a very systematic, targeted way. You need to, if you're particularly working on Azure customers who are also Rackspace customers, you need to have a strategy of finding those customers and getting input from them.
Okay, got it.
So go through, do some research, use the material in the curriculum on customer acquisition and positioning and so forth to figure out where those people are hanging out. Are there blogs where they're hanging out? Where are these people hanging out, so that you can find them and go after them specifically.
Okay, got it.
You can't really spray and pray, you have to go find the right people who can give you the right feedback.
Okay, got it. So it's all about cloud integration framework now.
Yep, cloud integration framework. And cloud integration framework, there's a company that actually started in that space. You may have heard of them, Aperio. That's exactly where they started. They started doing cloud integration work between Salesforce.com and some other stuff. And they have built a great company out of that, using integration frameworks and then productizing that and adding services on top of it. So you can build a nice product and services company using this cloud integration service, cloud integration framework positioning.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Yep. Let's see next. Doug Lowenthal, if you could unmute your line, you are going to present next.
Okay, great, thank you.
Doug is from Jacksonville, Florida, and from the startup weekend. Yes, Doug?
That's right, yeah. We actually started working on a different idea first, and midnight on Saturday night we imploded on it. We actually found a free version of what we were building. So we kind of stopped ourselves and at about 2 a.m. came up with this and rolled with it and wound up presenting it and have been running with it ever since. So it's been an exciting ride.
Okay, tell us what it is.
Okay, so buyer boycott that I'm representing. So imagine the sound of millions of wallets closing simultaneously in anger. So our goal is to unite the world in consumer activism through social technologies. So if we can move on to the next slide. What is buyer boycott? So it's a visual multi-platform system that allows consumers to actively or passively get engaged in current issues to help them make educated purchasing decisions. And I'll explain that a little bit further in the next slide. It allows companies and influencers to acquire and impact real-time market trends regarding their products, services, and associations. If you can go to the next slide. The revenue streams, initially it's going to be an ad-free, free product until we build up a mass and an active user community. At that point, there'll be advertising opportunities for strategic ad placement based around competitor trends. So imagine this, you're standing in a grocery store aisle and you pick up a Coca-Cola and you scan it with your phone and it comes up that the company has been widely boycotted for animal testing, GMOs, political stances or issues that they've been involved in. In the same place, you see an advertisement on the bottom for an alternate product like Pepsi Cola, which you can quickly touch and learn about that company. You set the Coke down and you purchase the Pepsi. So we're actively getting involved in people.
What are we talking about? In the grocery store, there is no place for ads to come up.
Well, no, you have your mobile phone in your hand, which 2 slides in, there's actually a demo of it. But you have your mobile phone in your hand, you scan the UPC code on the product that you're looking at purchasing.
But that's not, right? That's not what normal workflow in a grocery store is. In a grocery store, we hand all the material, we load up all the material on a, on maybe a conveyor belt, or just hand the cart over to somebody who scans everything, puts it in a bag, and you walk out. We don't go and scan every barcode in a mobile phone.
Well, so I mean, the concept is that you have this app installed on your iPhone or your BlackBerry or your Android, and you're in Best Buy or grocery store or any place that has a product that you're going to purchase, and you have the ability to scan the UPC code from your phone to pull up that product and get social, activist information about the company, the product, or the individuals that are involved in that company.
I don't think people this is not people's normal behavior. And if you try to change people's normal behavior, I don't think you get adoption in products.
One product that we're closely modeling after is a company called, an app called FujiKate, which is a very similar concept, but it's about scanning a product in the grocery store and getting health information about the product. So they have dietitians.
That's different. That's different.
Well, this is. Okay.
I think people, if people are very calorie conscious or something, they may want to do that to scan to check whether the calorie levels are, what the calorie levels are for such products and so forth. I think that's different. But I'm not sure if people would behave the way you want them to behave for this concept to be successful.
Well, so let me throw out a couple of things. SOPA and PIPA, had made the news recently, obviously with GoDaddy and folks moving a whole bunch of, 20,000 plus domains away from them. So it's not, the use of it is not necessarily just the scanning of the barcode. You could use the app passively and search for companies, products, through the website or through the phone.
I think you should think about your usage model. I mean, in any product to be successful, you need to think through the usage model. So in the second slide in a presentation, you should not present with a usage model that is a no-go. You should present with a usage model. Maybe the way to do it is some other usage model, some other interface, some other way to get into this product. But grocery store scanning is not it.
Okay. Part of, if you want, I could just finish with this slide, and then actually the next is the customer validation, and I'll talk a little about what we did there. Mm-hmm. But no, I definitely appreciate the feedback. And so that was one, revenue concept was around advertising, and the other is obviously once we build up a database of what people's purchasing preferences are around buys or boycotts, then that data would obviously be valuable for market research and direct marketing campaigns and product development for those companies. So if you just move to the next slide, I could talk a little about the validation that we've done already. So during Start Weekend, we actually went out into the field, went to Whole Foods and some different grocery stores and different things to ask folks about whether or not we had a list of questions, but the primary one that we saw a great response was if they've ever been actively involved in a boycott of a product or company based on different issues around that organization. I would say about 80% came back, and this is also web surveys that we did, that they had not been involved in a boycott actively themselves. But the follow-up question of if you had an easy way to know if you should be boycotting a company based on lobbyists or different information about the company, would you be more apt to participate in it? And the overwhelming response, 80+%, was in the direction of yes. And one of the judges at Startup Weekend actually said that this is something that he would use himself. And let me just explain the power of this. So, to give you an example, if you had boycotted a politician or an influencer, the Kardashians, or for some reason or some stance that they took or action, and it pops up and says you want to boycott all associated companies and products with this individual, when you are looking to make a purchase, it might even be a car or an item in a consumer retail space, and you go to purchase it, it'll pop up and tell you that you've already boycotted this product because you've boycotted an individual or a company based on another reason. So that affiliation or association, I think, is pretty huge, and based on the response that we got, because you may be buying products from a company that you boycotted and not even know it. So it kind of creates that association.
So all that, I'm listening to all of that feedback, and all that may be true, but the usage model, what is the user interaction is something that you need to think through to deliver that experience. Because I'll tell you, the last thing I want to do when I'm standing in a grocery line is I just don't want to think about it. I'm way too busy to apply a lot of thinking on the grocery line. I just want to hand the cart over to the guy who's scanning and packing and not want to think about it.
Right, I'm with you, and I think in terms of what my wife would do or wouldn't, and she wouldn't do that either. So,
and that is not a lot of people. I think that most people, especially people who are busy either with, busy working and then going to the grocery store after work or during the weekends, or, they're busy raising kids and then going to the grocery store, I just don't think they have emotional bandwidth to do this standing there. I don't think this will not do.
Well, one of the concepts we came up with to counter that was the idea of batch scanning. So let's say, typically people are buying the same milk and the same eggs and the same products over and over again for their house. So if we can move forward one more slide, you'll see there's a demo screen that will show a little bit what the app does look like. I'll tell you, if we can just move one more forward and then we'll go back to this one. On the scan, the concept we had was the idea of batch scanning. So you're standing at home, when you do have the bandwidth, the kids went to sleep, and you can basically batch scan products in your house. By doing that, you're adding it to your following list of products, companies that you're now following, and meanwhile, you batch scan, your milk, your eggs, your different pantry products, and they're now on the following list. So in the event that there's a recall on a product, or the company is in trouble, or a company is trending well based on some positive information about them, you get a notification on your following that there's some major movement in something that is already in your following list. You may find out that the milk company, now is trending badly because of some issues that they found at a warehouse or a manufacturing facility or something to that effect. So that would be the way, I think, to get around that, and that if you have the ability to scan an individual product, but you could build up your database of things that you purchase on a regular basis very quickly.
Anyway, I think I'm not convinced about the usage model. You need to, consumer products, the success or failure of them depend completely on the user experience that you bring to market. So that's my number one comment. I'm not convinced about the user experience that you're proposing. The second point is if you go back to, let's see, your revenue stream model, you are proposing to build something that is going to basically be offered for free for a considerable period of time until you develop critical mass. You're going to run into the problem of how do you finance that period of development.
Right. Yeah. That was part of one of the questions. As far as how do you estimate costs associated with something like this, which we really haven't figured out quite.
It takes a long time to get to critical mass. 18 months, 24 months before you get any even reasonable critical mass. And in advertising-oriented products, what you're looking for is millions of eyeballs, and that's just an expensive process to build up.
Right. Yeah. So that's there's been a couple of similar applications that have been launched, mostly text-based type apps that are around boycotts that came out. Around SOPA and PIPA, and they quickly had 10,000 plus downloads on the Android market. Nothing as visual as what we're developing, or as I think appealing to the mass market.
10,000 downloads doesn't really do anything because to get any, first and foremost, there's a tremendous excess and inventory out there on the mobile space and on online as well, ad inventory. So little ad inventory spaces don't really monetize.
Right. And that was
issues before you jump into building something. So I think that there are a series of different issues in your business plan. One is the user experience issue. Two is how do you get to critical mass? How long would it take to get to critical mass based on whatever user experience you decide? Remember one thing, the SOPA, all this protest stuff is viral because it affects a lot of people, and there's a tremendous PR around that concept going on. But when it comes to an app, you don't get that kind of PR except if there is, if something really hits the spot. So that is entirely a function of user experience design.
Okay. All right. I hear you loud and clear, and I really appreciate the feedback.
But I would say you have a lot more granular analysis and planning to do before you can jump into this with both feet.
Right. Okay. Well, we're going to try to figure out what those roadblocks are and try to overcome them. But I'll be paying attention. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Kaushik, you're next.
Hello.
Company.
Hi. Sramana, I'm Kaushik from Delhi. I missed the last time when we had this conference. I'll start with this first slide. We are basically doing the overall, the space in IT and telecom. And we started in the year 2009. It's been now almost 2.5 years that we're doing it. And we have set up the distribution as well as, selling these products to the corporates.
You're building tablets and laptops?
Yeah, what we do is we are sourcing it from one of the OEM, which is, because here in India we don't have the manufacturing capability. So we are bringing it from Taiwan and China. And we are adding, in terms of branding these products and selling it to the market.
So you assemble laptops and tablets?
Yes.
Okay.
And we are also working on the 3D space because in India and in the South Asian markets, 3G is gradually is taking the new space in the telecom domain, and we're also working with the operators in that space.
What does that mean? You're working with the operators doing what? You're delivering tablets and laptops for 3G operators?
We are basically taking their connectivity, and we are, hard bundling these products for the end users.
Okay. You're developing 3G laptops for carriers, or 3G tablets for carriers that are hard bounded to their particular connectivity solution.
Yeah, I mean, they have their own set of customers, but since they lack the, the hardware products, we, kind of bundle with that, with their connectivity, and we are reaching these to the end user, who could be a corporate or...
Who's marketing these products?
We are marketing it, and we are taking their help in terms of their network.
But is it your brand? Whose brand is on the computers?
Yeah, it is our brand, and we are marketing these products with the telecom operators connectivity.
And what is your advantage versus an HP or a Dell or whoever is whoever has products in India?
Yeah, let's go to the next slide. I'll be able to explain that better. Okay, so I just will take you to the overall overview of the company. And if you see, we have now established 3 offices in India. And it's been present turnover is now USD 400,000. And we are now, a mission is on the digital convergence products, mainly IT and telecom. And we want to grow into a global player by 2015. That's the vision.
But what is the advantage of why should a company that is basically sourcing parts from China and Taiwan and assembling hardware, why do you have even a chance of doing this versus companies that, I mean, the computer space is very, very crowded. HP, Dell, Acer, a lot of players in that space. So explain to me what is the case for you to be in this market?
Yes, I think our positioning is very clear that, HP and Acer goes into the niche of the market, the top niche. Whereas we are catering to the mid and the low end, rather.
No, that's not true. HP, I mean, all these players, other than Apple, every single player have extensive emerging market strategies. I cover all these players, HP and all, and they're doing huge business in the emerging markets. Lenovo does.
So they are already, they are present all across, but they're not so omnipresent in the upcountry locations. We are focusing more on,
Another comment I see on your slide, you're today in 2012, January 2012, February 2012, you're US dollar 400,000 and you want to touch $500 million by 2015. I have never heard of a company that grows at that kind of pace. Never. In the history.
No, it is basis the kind of growth that this industry will see over the period of coming 2 to 3 years time.
I don't understand.
See, I mean, the focus is mainly on the products which are new to the market, and we are yet to geographically, expand.
I don't see this business having a case.
Okay.
To become a large company. I just don't see how you compete with HP and why you want to compete with HP and Acer and Lenovo and so forth. I just don't see why you would want to do that.
No, Sramana, we are not competing with HP. I mean, that's not our. They are not our competitor in the first place.
Of course,
we are competing with.
All of them have emerging market strategies. They want to That's their growth strategy. Their growth in the developed markets, Western markets, are slowing. Every single one of them, their big strategy is emerging markets strategy. So of course you're competing with them. May not be your intent.
Yes.
In this business, you're competing with them.
Yeah. That's why I said they're not in the first place. We're not directly competing with them, but they are our competitors.
No, you are directly competing with them. You are not saying that. I'm telling you, you are directly competing with them, and I just don't see the point. Why? Why do you want to be in this business?
No, because you see, over the last few years, a lot of Indian companies have grown in the market at the expense of these multinationals. I mean, so to say, the giants.
Okay, and what is the advantage? What competitive advantage do they have or do you have?
Yeah. Some of the USP which they carried and which we carry is mainly first, it's a price-sensitive market, and second is we are delivering quality. We are not, selling a substandard product. It is.
I'm sorry, I just don't buy into this proposition.
Okay.
You can build a little business supplying some, but parts cost. You can't go below cost, right? There is a certain floor.
No, we are not going below cost. If you see the gaps and opportunities which we have mentioned, there HP is not present. I mean, they are not focusing. There's core competency.
Your slides are so crowded. First, here's a feedback. You should not put this much text on a slide. On a slide, you should put 3 bullet points and that's it. I can't.
Absolutely. I think, even I think so. Yes,
correct. What you're doing. But so far I have not seen a positioning. I have not seen a reason why these companies, you can build a little business, and you have a little business, yes. So that's fine. But if you're trying to build, I think you're talking about raising money and all that. These kinds of businesses, I don't think you can raise money for. Venture capital, you cannot raise for. You can raise bank finance, perhaps.
Yeah. See, we have had customers who were the Acer or HP customer, and we have also won customers from there, from those accounts. So it's not that we have had I mean, there is a case wherein the brand can grow, provided we are giving quality at the price.
But you haven't told me how you can do what you're proposing to do and compete with companies that are doing millions, hundreds of millions, and probably in due course billions of dollars of business in the same market that you are in. I can guarantee you, he has its eyes set on India. Lenovo has its eyes set on India. These are companies that are going to continue to be very big in India, in Africa, and all the emerging markets. Emerging markets is, if you listen to their earning calls, their whole strategy right now, growth strategy, is emerging markets. I covered these companies.
Yes. Okay. So
I have not heard anything from you so far that convinces me that you can compete with them, and I just don't understand why. One thing we teach in 1 million by 1 million is never to go front and center with companies that are very major players in very major markets. You can find niches, and you may be able to do something in a niche, but you can't go front and center. And competing on quality and price is going from front and center.
Okay. So you would say, brands can't coexist?
Sorry?
You mean to say if HP is there, we can't coexist in that vertical, in that domain?
That's a niche. And that requires a completely different kind of positioning.
But see, our set of clientele do not directly clash with HP's customer.
Okay, explain to me who is your customer who is not HP's customer and why. Don't tell me quality and price. That is sufficient.
See, first for if I take we have different sets of customers. If I talk of a corporate customer who is will look at the technical specification of a product, he will look at a customization of this product from us. which a company like HP won't be giving him.
Okay, so tell me what customization in the customer, talk about specifics. You have $400,000 US dollars a year business. Talk about specific customizations that have allowed you, enabled you to sell your products into these accounts. Give me some examples.
Yeah, Sramana, like, we worked recently with the UID project for Government of India, where the Unique ID project, and they wanted a kind of RFID-based product, which is a tablet PC, and we developed this product for them as a demo unit for showing it to their management, and this is how we cracked into that account, because company like say a HP or a Huawei or Samsung, they didn't have this
that is not,
kind of.
So remember, I asked you originally what products will you be selling and whose brand and who's going to be marketing it.
Okay.
You're talking about is custom hardware for specific types of projects. If you get into the UID project for Government of India, that is not a product. The product is not going to go under your brand, most likely. The way that product is going to go to market is going to be something very different.
No, but you see, we can extend or expand our network based on this project.
I understand, but I think what you're not following is that the business you are in is in a custom hardware business.
True.
It is very different from the mainstream laptop and computer business.
Yeah.
And it needs to be built very differently. The business needs to be built very differently.
Sure.
That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I need to work with the other people, so I hope you got some useful feedback from this. But don't position yourself in a situation where you're going to be mistakenly you're going to be compared to HP and Dell.
No, I mean HP and Dell is far ahead in the race, of course, and we want to grow it from stepwise. So.
Anyway, I think I've given you some feedback at this point.
Right, Sramana. And what do you suggest we should do?
What do I suggest you should do in what sense?
For the immediate, immediate goals that we set for ourselves.
I don't know what your immediate goals are. I can't read a whole slide full of text of this size right now.
Right.
But I can tell you that you're going to have to continue soliciting customers who have custom hardware needs, and continue to service them. You basically continue building the way you've built your $400,000 business. I assume it's by going after customers who have given you projects, and you have done those projects and delivered those projects, and you continue to build on that business. That's your business.
No, Sramana, we also have B2C customers. That we have B2C business as well.
You're what?
Yeah, we are working on that, where the distribution has expanded into Bangladesh as well as India, the neighboring countries as such.
But it's a custom hardware business, though, right?
Yeah, it's a custom hardware. Yes.
Yeah, so custom hardware business, you're going to need to build your customer acquisition with that in mind. You need to if I were to spend more time working with you, I would try to understand your customer base and try to understand which segment has requirements for custom hardware and advise you accordingly in developing customer acquisition strategies to go into those markets.
Right. Yeah, okay.
So if I were to have another session with you, I would ask you to come with a full analysis of where you've got your customers, and then I would spend time with you understanding that customer base and giving you, coaching on how to develop strategies to get more customers in those segments, and also brainstorm about figuring out what other segments are there where there is custom hardware requirements? Because
I think yeah.
I don't think the carriers customer has custom hardware requirements like that.
So I think next time I'll prepare the slide with bullet points so that it's easier for you to understand. There's a lot of fine line between these print, and there are a lot of topics.
Well, I can prove to you at the free roundtable. There are other people that I need to work with right now.
Yes, absolutely.
Hang on for a second. I'll talk to you and everybody else about how we work, how 1 million by 1 million works with entrepreneurs.
Sure.
But yes, you do need to come with material that can be digested in
right.
quick bites. I can't really digest material that is 15 pages of small font text. That's just not how we handle it.
Thanks for your time, and I'll get back the next time.
Well,
thank you. Yeah, thanks.
I don't think has been able to get on the line, right? So Edo, if you could unmute your line and come on and present. How do you say this?
Okay, can you hear me?
Is this coolering?
Yeah, it's called coolering, and hello everyone, and thank you for allowing me to pitch. My presentation is quite visual, so I'll need you to just keep moving the slides along. So I'll actually start off by telling a story, and I think that will really illustrate the pain point of our customers that we're trying to solve. So I want to introduce my colleague. Her name is Pauline. And Pauline, you can go to the next slide, studied in the College of Europe in Bruges, Belgium, which is a very elite, prestigious program for future EU diplomats. And in 2008, she graduated, and like her other alumni, she asked herself, what now? And she thought to move to Israel. So she got on the phone, and she reached out to her administration. You can stop there. And she asked, who in Israel can you connect me with? And it took them 3 months to find out who are the alumni of the College of Europe in Israel that they could connect her with. And all of their contacts a lot of them were outdated. And it took a very long time, and it was a very arduous process. However, the same contacts that they did end up putting her in touch with helped her find a job where she's been working these last 3 years. Right? So it just shows that alumni are a really valuable resource, and thousands of people are graduating undergraduate and graduate programs around the world each year, going into the job market and are faced with all kinds of different career challenges and questions. And so this is a serious issue that we're aiming to solve. A lot of times universities go and they build their own alumni platforms, but we think that these alumni platforms that each university builds are quite outdated. The user experience isn't that sophisticated. So our solution is a focused alumni solution. It's a SaaS platform. You can go to the next slide. Our value proposition is that as opposed to other social network solutions like Cohort or Yammer or Ning, here we're focused on alumni. We're focused on the needs of alumni, focused on the needs of the administrations, of the university administrations, and here there's going to be continuous development and support around those needs. So as opposed to a university that goes out and hires a web development company one time to build their alumni web platform, here there's going to be a continuous and improvements in development. You can move to the next slide. Just to give a little bit of a taste of the functions and features, so obviously, it's crucial that the profiles be updated. So to do that, we're thinking of syncing it with other social media platforms that people already tapped into, like LinkedIn. The news updates, giving the alumni relevant news to them, having strong search functions, giving them news about events that are relevant to them through the university. And something that we think is very unique to our platform is something we're calling the wishing wall, which is basically a tool where users can present a request or a wish to the community. Let's say somebody's looking to get into the real estate area, and other users, other alumni can connect them. They can offer solutions and get rewarded for offering those solutions. So kind of creating a gamification around collaboration, around helping one another. And with alumni, that's usually the case where they want to help one another because they have that affiliation to the same university and the same graduate program. Another tool that's really important to us is the analytics, giving the university the tools to analyze how the community is behaving, who are the key players, and how this platform is functioning. You can go on. Another key thing that we realize is that we want to aggregate the networks, meaning I don't want to, if we take your example, Sramana, you graduated from Smith College and then you did your master's at MIT, and then, let's say you have the 1 million network. These are essentially like 3 separate networks that the given graduate has separate profile, separate password to access these networks. We want to aggregate these alumni networks and give the users, the alumni, the ability to access the alumni networks from one platform. If you can move ahead. So who's the customer? The customer is essentially the universities. We're targeting the universities to use this platform as a SaaS platform. You can go ahead. And that leads me to the revenue model, the business model. So on the one hand, it's SaaS. The universities are going to be paying a monthly or yearly subscription. And the other revenue model would be HR, working with HR agencies and companies or companies who are looking to hire. Here we've aggregated a great amount of quality, authenticated alumni. So this is a very good source for recruitment. Same as LinkedIn. LinkedIn, half of their revenue model is based on HR. So that's another. Those are our 2 revenue models. You can go ahead.
Who takes the HR revenue? It's the alumni. It's the alumni association, or the university, or you?
We would. We considered possibly offering some of that revenue to the universities, but I think that
the university will not let you take the entire recruiting revenue. If you're doing it under, if they buy a SaaS product, set up this network, put all their alumni on it, they will not let you take the recruitment revenue. They will take the recruitment revenue.
Well, it's a very interesting question because we're thinking of sharing that recruitment revenue with the university, but they're also, if we can tell them, look, we're giving you this SaaS platform for a cheaper price, if it would cost just theoretically $1,000, we're giving it to you for $500 because we're also making revenue from recruitment. That's the way that we can balance it out. And from our initial conversations with universities, they seem to be open to that because they want those job offers and recruitment possibilities for their students.
Yeah, at the minimum, you're going to have to do rev share on that.
Okay. Well, that's a good point, and thank you. So our market penetration model is starting with top-tier MBA programs. We identified MBA programs as being a community that are more eager to network and to have those kind of business connections. And by trying to start with top-tier, that would open the door to other universities. And in terms of market validation, we've been speaking with a lot of universities. We decided on 3 universities to do a pilot. We've also been speaking with others who are already interested in spending and paying us to build the platform. So that's been very exciting for us to really see that universities are so eager for this. They're already eager to pay for the platform even before we fully developed it. You can go to the next slide. In terms of the team, so it's me and Pauline, who I introduced before. We're working more on the business side of things. We've been outsourcing the development, the UX, the design, and now the programming, but we are looking for our CTO. We realize that this is a technological solution that we're offering, and we need to have a technological partner within the team. And the final slide.
Background?
Excuse me?
What is your background?
So my background is these last 3 years I had another startup which was a website for Israeli arts and culture, kind of like an Amazon iTunes for Israeli art and culture. And Pauline comes from more of the project management and business development. She's been working for the chief scientist of Israel for these last few years and working on collaboration between Europe and Israel on startup projects.
Okay. So let me give you my first reaction is this is an idea. The idea of powering alumni network with their own private social networks is an idea that is abundantly being pursued by tons of entrepreneurs right now. Even in these forums, we've seen this idea come up over and over again. And around the world, actually, we've seen these ideas come out of the US, we've seen these ideas come out of India, and now you're pursuing the same idea from Israel. So one of the things that you're going to face is that there are other startups that are thinking along the same line. So the idea is good. I think the idea is very good. Alumni networks should do their own professional networks or their own alumni networks that really help in, empowering their alumni base and so forth. And you have some nuances to it that are interesting, but there's products take time to evolve. In the beginning, you're not going to have all these other pieces of analytics and a cross-network integration and so forth. You're going to have to come with a minimum viable product and get into market that way. And there, you're going to face a lot of competition just because there are other startups pursuing this.
Right. We've already faced that, and some of the universities that we've been talking to have presented that with us. That's why we're thinking if we could be a little bit more niche and target, the MBA programs. We realize that there's a lot of alumni solutions coming up, but we haven't seen ones that have solely focused on MBA. So that's why we're thinking in terms of market penetration.
Also cuts down your market significantly.
Yeah, it does. It does. But if we could dominate that industry and make a real buzz there and evolve as like the premium solution, that could potentially open it up to other departments, other sections of the university.
Possibly. I think I don't have any problems with your MBA segment being the market penetration strategy. That does not necessarily mean that you're not going to face huge competition even there, because the others who are trying to get in will also try to get into those programs. So that's number one. Number two is, today's funding environment is such that nothing gets funded at a concept level. You have to come progress and get into validated business. So people fund businesses as opposed to concepts. You've got to turn this into a business, without expecting outside financing.
Right, and that's what we're trying to do now, and we've been bootstrapping it, and now we're starting to speak to clients about potentially paying for it. Until now, we've only been talking to them about pilots, and now we've moved to the phase where we're saying, okay.
That's the best way to do it. That's absolutely the best way to do it, is getting customers to pay for it. And if this is actually great validation, right? If you have customers, let's say MBA programs, who are willing to pay you to develop this for you, that's great. That's the ideal scenario.
Right, and what do you think of aiming to because initially our strategy was to go to the low-hanging fruits, to the smaller schools that don't have anything developed, to those who have something that's very poor UX, those that are more eager for it. But then we've been thinking maybe we should go to the top-tier ones, maybe the Columbia, the Harvards, the Yales, and if we got them, that would open the door to all the rest.
Yeah, but getting them is not going to be easy. Everybody is going after them.
Right. So you think maybe going to the smaller ones that aren't being chased after might be a better way to begin?
You're going to have to talk to lots of customers and see where you can get traction.
Okay. And I wanted to ask you also, how crucial do you think, because right now we don't have that CTO that we want to recruit. Do you think it's, in terms of the funders and the way they're looking at the project, if we're outsourcing the development, we're taking on a paid company or a programmer who's going to be working with us, fairly closely, but still it's not one of the core founders.
So there's a company in 1 million by 1 million that is trying to do private professional networks, and that is the technical founder, and they don't have business founders on the team. One possibility could be that you could actually join hands and merge your projects.
Okay. Do you remember?
You were very early stage. They're very early stage. I mean, really, really very, very early stage on both sides. So, and she has done quite a bit of work also looking around and trying to talk to alumni associations and so forth. So you guys perhaps should hook up.
Okay, we'll try to find him. He presented on 1 million by 1 million?
No, this is somebody who's part of 1 million by 1 million premium.
Okay, so maybe after this you could help us connect.
You need to join the program for me to help you connect, and I need to get her permission for that. So I can't I cannot connect you without talking to her first.
Okay, sounds good. Sramana, thank you very much. I really appreciated your feedback.
You're welcome. This is an idea that we're hearing over and over again.
Well, we hope we'll be able to develop some core functions and execute them in such a way that will stand out.
Good. Okay, so let me actually go through how we can help you, you know, in leveraging the pool of resources that we have brought together under one umbrella. And before I do that, I want to reach out to all of you and ask you for your help in bringing, you know, look around every one of you, if you look around in your network, if you and look for 10 serious entrepreneurs whom you can expose 1 million by 1 million to. You know, this is a free roundtable, right? It happens every week. We're giving very hardcore, serious feedback, no nonsense, no bullshit feedback on people's businesses and steering them in the right direction, completely free of charge. So look around in your network and see if you can bring in 10 serious entrepreneurs to these roundtables, and that would be incredibly valuable. All right, so the website of 1 million by 1 million is at 1m1m.sramanamitra.com, and all the resources you can find there. The first set of resources, absolute basic level of resources, is our blog, which is at sramanamitra.com. And there are numerous case studies, trend analysis, and all sorts of material that you can use for free. The blog is entirely free, and you're most welcome to use it. The next level of resources is the Entrepreneur Journeys book series. And there we have 4 volumes of Entrepreneur Journeys. And these are stories of entrepreneurs, how they've built their case studies, essentially, role models and case studies with analysis and synthesis that I have provided. And what that does, basically, is give you deep insights into building companies block by block by block. So what I've done is really delved into the strategic nuances of how entrepreneurs are building companies. All the books are available on Amazon, Kindle internationally, and in India also through Flipkart. You get inspiration and overview in the introductory volume, but throughout the series, our goal is not only education, but also inspiration. Just seeing so many entrepreneurs at such a human level, you know, that they're explaining exactly how they put one foot before the other. The blood, sweat, and tear of these stories is incredibly inspiring and reassuring. You know, as you face the challenges and the trauma of entrepreneurship, these inspiring stories are very helpful. Now, we have 2 volumes, one on bootstrapping and one on positioning. Bootstrapping, Weapon of Mass Reconstruction, and Positioning, How to Test, Validate, and Bring Your Idea to Market. These 2 volumes speak to some of the cornerstone philosophies of 1 million by 1 million. We want you to really invest the energy in bootstrapping the early stages of your companies, because today the funding environment is such that concept level ideas don't get funded. They just don't get funded. So you have to bootstrap your way through a validated business before anybody will look at you as a funding opportunity. And in some cases, you will bootstrap all the way through and not take outside money, depending on the dynamics and the nature of your business. And similarly, positioning is something that you need to learn, because laser-sharp positioning is what allows you to build cost-efficient, capital-efficient companies. So as I said, the blog is sramanamitra.com. And then the next layer of free resource we have also are these strategy roundtables. And we are on our 114th strategy roundtable today. We have had over 8,000 people attend. Or, you know, we've coached over 500 entrepreneurs. This is happening every Thursday almost. And again, free resource. Take advantage of it. Get some, you know, experienced eye to look at what you're doing and give you some feedback so that you don't run off in a direction where you're going to likely hit the wall. The next layer that you can get to within the 1 million by 1 million portfolio is a premium membership. It's like a club membership where you get to access a host of different resources. We provide you with extensive methodology guidance through a curriculum. We provide business development, customer introductions, channel partner introductions, strategy consulting similar to this but in a more in-depth format, and also help with financing. We also do a lot of media work. We are doing announcements, product releases, blah, blah, blah. We give you access to our reach in the media and analyst world through our network. One of the things we would ask you to do as soon as you get involved in 1 million by 1 million is to put yourself through the 1 million by 1 million self-assessment. And that is a 9-point self-assessment that gives you an opportunity to calibrate yourself and see where you are in terms of various issues, whether it's fundability, whether it's bootstrapping, whether it's positioning. There are a variety of things that you need to calibrate yourself against, and these are the parameters that you need to get right to be able to build a serious company. And if you're a premium member, we have curriculum modules attached to every single point of the self-assessment that you can use to fill your gaps. Every entrepreneur, especially first-time entrepreneurs, have a lot of skill gaps. And those skill gaps need to be filled. You have to fill those skill gaps, otherwise you're going to make a lot of mistakes that are perfectly avoidable and just go down paths where you'll waste 3, 6, 9, 12, 18 months of your life unnecessarily. You don't need to do that. The whole reason we are doing 1 million by 1 million is so that you can avoid these perfectly avoidable mistakes. So if you go to the 1M1M site, I will point you to a few things. One is on the top right corner in the black bar, you have premium program, which describes what to expect from the premium program, FAQs, there's a bunch of video messages that you can look at. And those are good places to start your exploration of what to get out of 1 million by 1 million. Our methodology is lean, capital efficient, bootstrap startup. So just like you are going to have to watch your money, and there's no other way of doing it. You have to watch your money. We have methodology that watches your money. We don't want you to spend a penny on things that you don't need to spend money on. And we'll be very mindful of making sure that you do not spend money where you should not be spending money. I am constantly discouraging people to spend money on things. Like recently, I discouraged somebody to invest in their minimum viable product, yet because they didn't have their scoping right, they didn't have their positioning right. So if you develop a minimum viable product without first understanding your positioning, the user experience, and so forth, you are likely to make a lot of mistakes. Similarly, there was somebody who was ready to spend $10,000 to $15,000 a month on a PR agency, and I listened to the situation and I decided that this was not the right time. That $10,000 to $15,000 a month could be spent on other marketing programs better and with better results given the stage of that company. So we want you to conserve your resources and not do things that are not going to be the most impactful in terms of building your business. All right. Now this is a slide that shows you a glimpse of the curriculum. We have the core curriculum and elective curriculum. And together, it's over 100 hours worth of resources, curriculum resources, through which you can do this kind of skill gap plugging, essentially. And the core curriculum has 7 modules: bootstrapping, positioning, market sizing, customer validation, financing, customer acquisition, and team building. On the elective side, we align the elective modules to the major trends of our industry today. Web 3.2 and e-commerce is a major trend. Cloud computing and business solutions. Outsourcing and consulting, mobile and social apps, gaming, healthcare IT, online education, these are major trends, major industry trends, and these are businesses that we are seeing a lot of flow in, and we have specific curriculum material on each of those businesses as well. Our approach is a case study-based teaching approach. Over the last 6 years, I've spent enormous amounts of time working with entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs who have sat down and shared with me their success stories, their failures, their learnings, their lessons from the trenches. And these are case studies that we've made available, packaged and made available to you, including video lectures which synthesize, analyze and synthesize these methodologies so that you can if you invest 50 to 100 hours in digesting this curriculum, you are going to make a major shift in your level of sophistication as an entrepreneur. And we strongly recommend, if you're a first-time entrepreneur, you're operating with huge skill gaps, plug those skill gaps. Do not take a chance on not plugging those skill gaps. I talked about business development. We do a lot of business development deals, and this is just a coverage of one of our deals with a company that's about a $200 million company today that is a channel for one of our 1 million by 1 million companies. Strategy Roundtable for Entrepreneurs is a recap column that after every Strategy Roundtable, we publish recaps of the session. And oftentimes, our companies use these forums for announcements and sharing their ideas, and we make a major PR splash, media coverage splash for them using these columns. This is a note from a company that presented at one of our strategy roundtables and then was writing to me on my Facebook page saying, Sramana, I wish this was available 3 years ago. I raised a bunch of angel money, and I did not do things in the right order. I wasted a lot of money, and today I'm out of money. I wish I had this methodology to work with. We work with a lot of incubators around the world, more and more as time goes by, and this MAD incubator in Malaysia is one of our partners, but we have incubator partners in Ohio and a variety of places where we are seeing a lot of collaboration going on with incubators. We have a strong affiliate program. We pay affiliate commission of 10% to other, whether it's media companies or local organizations who are also doing entrepreneurship development and looking for a business model and want to use the 1 million by 1 million premium program in a supplemental mode. They're very welcome to do that, and then we do pay 10% affiliate commission. Now, the free roundtables are pretty much, we have free roundtables every week for the next 6 weeks. And please feel free to use these roundtables and come and run your businesses by us so that we can give you feedback and steer you in whatever seems like the right direction to us, and so that you don't go on a wild goose chase. The last book I want to talk about is Vision India 2020. It's a book that talks about how to leverage India's strategic advantages. We have $45 billion business ideas in this book, and it's written as if it's a business fiction set in 2020 looking back on building these companies. And in that sense, it's a futuristic retrospective. It's fiction, essentially. And you're very welcome to take any of these ideas and implement them. And we do have a module in 1 million by 1 million that specifically works on Vision India 2020 ideas. So with that, we have a few minutes to do Q&A. I'm going to open up my public chat, and you're very welcome to ask any questions, comments, whatever. We can have a conversation. Those of you who do not have access to the audio, please just use the public chat to type in your questions, and I'll pick them up and answer them. And for everybody, Irina Patterson, who is one of the 1 million by 1 million ambassadors who's in the room today, she is available to talk to any of you who want to find out more about 1 million by 1 million premium, and she'll Skype with you or get on the phone with you. She's offering you her Skype ID, Irina_Patterson, and you feel free to talk to her if you have questions specifically about how your situation, 1 million by 1 million, applies to your particular situation. So questions, anybody? Jyoti Chawla, are there any other entrepreneurship books or other resources you would recommend? Right now I would say I would prefer to stay focused on the 1 million by 1 million portfolio of resources, and I can't guarantee what other resources can deliver for you. So right now I would not like to get into that discussion of other resources. Part of success in entrepreneurship or in any endeavor is focus. And just like I advise you to be focused on your specific endeavor and being very, very, very sharply positioned on where you add value and where you deliver value, what customers, what segments. We as entrepreneurs, 1 million by 1 million is also a startup. It's a small startup just like your startup. And we tend to be very, very focused on specifically what we are doing, and we don't go around trying to do this, that, and other things. Focus is a secret of success for most entrepreneurs. So the overall 1 customer validation, 2 pitch positioning needs to be modified. You need to first change your positioning and pitch, and then start your customer validation, because if you don't change your pitch and positioning first and you go to do customer validation with your original pitch, you're going to get false negatives and false positives, neither of which are useful. You need to validate against the right pitch and the right positioning. And folks, please make sure that your public chat is set to all participants, sent to all participants, so that everybody can see your questions, and don't send me messages privately. Sudhi, you're sending me private messages. I don't want to have a private conversation with you here right now. It's not fair to everybody else who's trying to participate in this roundtable. So Sudhi is asking, is he on the right track? You're on the right track. Based on what I told you today, yes, you're on the right track. You need to change your semantics, the language, how you present what you're doing from a platform to an integration framework, and otherwise you're on the right track. And with that, if you go back to start doing customer validation against the right segments, right target market, right target customers, yes, you're on the right track. Yeah. And by the way, folks, these subtle changes are what makes or breaks companies. You cannot imagine how powerful just 1 or 2 words are in describing what you do. It's incredibly powerful, incredibly important. Anybody else? Any other questions, comments? Edo Cohen asks, how important is it to talk numbers in a presentation, revenue projections, etc.? You have to explain TAM. If at any point, if you're trying to go raise money, if you're not raising money, then you don't need to talk numbers. For your own benefit, you need to do TAM analysis, revenue projections, and all that. But unless you're talking for customers, you don't need to make presentations. If you're doing customer presentation, you don't need to do revenue projections and all that. If you're doing investor presentations, of course you need to talk numbers. Sudhi is asking for TAM, is it too early? No, you should do a TAM analysis. There is a comprehensive module on how to do bottom-up TAM analysis in the curriculum. So look it up and do your TAM analysis, absolutely. You listed on angel lists, good or bad. You're not ready for financing right now, so you can keep a listing there, but there is nothing to do right now on angel list. I wouldn't spend a lot of time on angel list right now. There's nothing to do on angel list. You're not ready for angel financing. Jyoti Chawla asks, what is TAM? TAM is total available market. Market size analysis is essentially the short form of that is TAM. Yeah. Mayank is asking, if a product or service requires a larger ecosystem for it to function effectively, what would be the right method to conduct a pilot? It's hard to answer that question without specifics, Mayank. I need to look at your business and get to the specifics of it. But one broad comment is that the more dependencies you have, the more risk of failure you encounter, because there are more points at which the system is going to fail. iPhone hardware minus iOS, Apple will never let you do that. There's absolutely no chance of a business succeeding if you want to use iPhone hardware minus iOS. There's a zero chance of success on that one. Apple is an end-to-end controlled system. There's absolutely no way it will work. Okay, thank you. Please don't build anything like that, Mayank. Absolutely zero chance of working. Anybody else? Any other questions, comments? So folks, we are in the public chat right now. Anybody wants to ask questions or comments, please feel free to ask. Irina, if you should put your phone number in the public chat. I know you've put your Skype already. So folks, those of you who want to ask questions about 1M1M Premium and want to talk to somebody, please call Irina. She has put her phone number in the public chat, and her Skype ID is Irina_Patterson. And Irina, put your email ID as well. It's irina@sramanamitra.com. Sudhi is saying, my suggestion is join 1 million by 1 million, and he doesn't work for 1 million by 1 million. Thank you, Sudhi. Sudhi is a premium member of 1 million by 1 million. That is, and he is working with us using the methodology and the resources, and apparently, as he says, is finding it useful. Okay, folks, looks like we've covered everybody's questions. I don't see any other questions or comments. So we're going to wrap up for today and get on with our day. Good luck, everybody, and we'll see you next week. Members, 1 million by 1 million premium members, you have a private roundtable on Wednesday, and of course, for everybody, we have a public roundtable on Thursday. So please feel free to take advantage of all those programs, and I want to remind you, do refer your friends and fellow entrepreneurs to 1 million by 1 million. We would very much like to work with you and your friends and fellow entrepreneurs, and that's basically the basis of our success, is if you become successful as entrepreneurs. We will only be successful if you are successful by making you successful. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming to the show today. Bye.